off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIM Studios. I just realized I need to turn the light on. Well, lighting doesn't look that bad. eSIM Studios YouTube channel, eSIM Studios live stream. We're live streaming tech news every day, all day. Well, not all day, but every day. Tech news, uploading something every single day, whether it's a short, whether it's a video, whether it's a live stream. This is the best place to be on YouTube for technology. Now, well, at least discussions, right? I may not have the prettiest looking reviews, and I'm going to work on that. Look, I'm a busy man, as you are too, but I plan on rolling into this full time, so I'm going to upgrade a little bit. Let me turn this light on, see if it makes a difference, but we got a lot to talk about in a short period of time. Hang on. There we go. A little better. Let me test my audio. Yeah, we're good. So I appreciate everybody for joining me today. I hope everybody has had a wonderful Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday, the 22nd of April. Wow. My brain is all over the place. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day so far. It is the end of the day, rolling into the evening, and we're going to review all the tech news, all the discussions, all the topics that have been rolling out. My God, it seems like I didn't know the Oppo Find X9 Ultra was going to have this much. I've been called out. You know what? On the last video, well, time out. Before we get into that, I'm actually streaming on my laptop, and so yesterday at about 3 something, my power went out to the house, but only for a split second. It turned off, then turned right back on. Everything, lights, fan, everything just turned off, turned right back on, a split second. My computer died. I was working on my computer and everything. I was like, damn, that's weird. And then that's where our Wi-Fi went out. Now, our Wi-Fi was out for like 18 hours. I just got it back a few hours ago, right around lunchtime. And the fiber jack, the Google fiber jack that's on the wall, right, that connects to your router, the fiber jack blew a fuse or something blew on it. So anyways, long story short, had a Google fiber tech come out, fix that. But this afternoon, when I sat down to get some work done on my mini PC, the damn thing won't turn on. And I'm like, and I don't really have time to diagnose it. So I would have started this stream, long story short, I would have started this stream earlier, but I had to get everything set up, the stream and all sorts of stuff set up on my laptop. And I had updates, I haven't pulled the thing out in, I don't know, few weeks. So you know how that is, right? And it was dead. I had to wait for it to charge and updates. I'm like, golly. But we're live. We're on YouTube, and I appreciate you for joining me today. Now, I got to steal. I had to leave the house real quick. I got to steal. It's badass. I've always wanted this phone. Never had the opportunity to get it. I got a Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus, the Plus model. Now it's in that deep navy blue. Oh man, it looks so. I've always wanted an S25 in the navy blue. I got it. Boom. Found one for $300. That is a steal. $300. I saw it on Facebook Marketplace this morning, and I was like, "Don't go anywhere. I am on my way." Boom. Left the house. Got it. Came right back. Just signed in and set up I'm using it as my webcam. Phones are the best thing to use for webcams. I got official webcams, but can't beat a phone camera. So long story short, appreciate everybody for joining us today. I'm gonna discuss some iPhone stuff, some Oppo stuff, and I think I'm gonna put out a community post later. I want your opinion on if you think the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is worth buying, if you're interested in buying it, or you're got your mind made up, you want to get one, right? Now, I don't mean like maybe tomorrow or next week, but maybe a few months down the road, are you going to get one? Would you buy one? Because I don't watch a lot of tech reviews, but I did watch. After you watch 2 or 3, it's essentially the same video, right? It's just with different creators. But each and every video is all about the camera, right? You watch one video, you've essentially seen them all. Now, my go-to people when I watch like tech reviews on like when the Oppo Find X9 Ultra comes out, I watch Flossie Carter's. Now, his is more geared towards software and features, right? But when it comes to cameras, camera comparison, he does his like towards the end. But for the other reviews, I watch Tech Spurt. It's like some skinny, I don't know, is he Scottish? I'm not real good with somewhere over there in UK. I watch Tech Spurt. He does good camera reviews. And then Ben's Gadget Reviews. He does good camera reviews. And I know there's a gazillion and one others, but like I said, you watch one, maybe two, you've seen them all. So I think I'm going to get one. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get one. In fact, my wife is now talking about getting one. And last night I was like, what? You? I was like, no way. She was like, well, do they have an ecosystem? And I was like, well, yeah, of course they do. So went down the rabbit hole. This thing got overlooked. Oppo just came out. We're going to look into it because I saw it and I was like, damn, that's a pretty good deal with one, not so good. Well, I'm not going to say not so good spec, but we'll get into it. Brand new Oppo Pad 5 Pro. It's a tablet. And then they got watches, they got earbuds. They have the whole ecosystem. So I never thought in a million years she would go to Samsung because she's literally a lifelong Pixel user. And then for her to jump to Samsung was a shocker. And then now she's talking about potentially getting the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is mind-blowing. But it's that good of a phone. And I think I know she's kind of gotten, I hate to use the word bored, but that's the first thing that's the easiest word to pick out of the air and put into real life. And I don't necessarily mean bored in a bad way, but I mean, and look, the way the Pixels look are fantastic. I think they are the best looking smartphone. However, when you start comparing, when you go past the looks and you start comparing, not just specs, right? Because the Oppo is, I think, the best spec phone in the world. Maybe one or two specs, another phone beats it, but in a total, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra is spec'd out, right? Pixel doesn't really compare, and then you get to the software. Now, Pixel has gotten better at features, stuff like that. Samsung OnePlus, and I've never used Oppo, but it's similar to OnePlus. They have every option under the sun in the settings. If you want to change this, they give you 5 options. If you want to change that, they give you 6 options. I mean, you can customize these things galore. And I think that's what Pixel's kind of, now that she has a Samsung, she's like, oh, wow, you can do this, you can do that, you can customize this, you can change your font. Imagine that, changing your font. Pixel, you can't change font. So it's stuff like that where she's starting to see, and the main thing is updates, right? That's why she has always stuck with Pixel, because she wants the latest and greatest in security. And I've been a lifelong Pixel user my whole life. But I've always had a Samsung on the side or a OnePlus on the side. See what I'm saying? I've always, even before this YouTube channel, I used to always have 3-4 flagship phones at a time just because I love technology. But she's just had Pixel. Now, that rolls me into the Oppo thing. If they have what's maybe damn near a perfect phone, and there is no such thing as a perfect phone. There's always something that could be improved, could be better, could have better hardware. I may do a deep dive into the specs. It might be it might be the perfect phone. But now that she's moved to Samsung, and we still have Pixel in the house, right? And my daughter's, we tried to buy her a Samsung. I had to buy 3 Samsung devices, 3 S26 Ultras. My wife and I kept ours. My daughter couldn't do it. So we got her we returned her S26 Ultra and got her a Pixel 10 Pro XL. She had a Pixel 10 Pro, but she wanted to upgrade the screen size, so we got her the XL. But that says a lot when Pixel users are looking elsewhere. And look, that might be why Google is going to the Pixel Glow around the camera island. Maybe just give people an extra feature to play with. But Google needs, I was telling my wife this morning, if Google, they're so close to having not a perfect phone, but a real banger, something people can be really, really, really proud of, is Google needs to get this GPU and or CPU thing figured out. They really need to get the GPU thing figured out, because the CPU's all right, but the GPU sucks. So if they can get the GPU okay, and they look, I'm not a fan of the 200 charging cycle limit. I think that's just going to be there. I think that's what they're going to do, which means if I get another Pixel, I only have 6 months of using it, then I'm selling it. But and I don't anticipate them, like I said, removing that. But if they can get their GPU thing straightened out, they'll have a pretty damn good phone. Their video could use some improvement. I would like to see them get back to photo, great, fantastic, top-notch photo quality and video quality. I think Google's been at the top for so long, for a long time, and then these Chinese phones, Oppo, Vivo, started passing Google in the charts for the last few years. I say a few years, could be 3, 4, 5 years. I think it's Google to try. I think they need to try and do their darndest to get that #1 spot, or at least the top 3. Like, they need a phone that ranks up there at the very top, because man, I was thinking about it yesterday. There's nothing like it and it's been a long time. I've kind of just sat back and been like, well, it is just what it is as far as photos. It's been years since I've had a phone where you just point and shoot, and then you look at your photo after you take a photo, and you're like, holy crap, that's a good picture. It's been a while since I've been blown away. And now with this Oppo Find X9 Ultra coming out, it really makes me wonder, like, why do I continually buy like phones that are mad expensive that don't get like superb camera quality and or video quality? Like, I see myself kind of settling just for what Samsung gives us, right? And so now I'm like, it's literally the same price, and I kind of get just, well, that it is what it is, or well, that's just how it is. No, we expect more out of Samsung. Now, the pressure is really really on Samsung this upcoming year for the S27 series. They got to bring new camera hardware. They got to bring something new to the table, because this Oppo thing, it's catching the internet by storm, taking YouTube by storm. Hell, it's taken me, our household by storm. It's like, whoa, they're doing what with their phones? And then we're looking at Samsung like, what the hell are y'all doing? It's like, holy crap, you can have a badass phone spec'd out for the same price as a Samsung, where they're not speccing it out. They don't give you the best camera hardware. They're not giving you the best UFS storage. They're not giving you a 10-bit display. Like, what are we doing here? Why am I spending money with y'all when I can have this, right? Meaning the Oppo. I'm like, so I think even just putting my thoughts to words here on YouTube just right now, because I've been thinking about this all for the last 24 hours. I'm just able to project it out now. These are the thoughts that have been running through my head. I think I have my mind made up in getting one. And it appears that Giztop is the very best place to get it if you're in the United States. Now, whoa. I'm not bashing Average Dad. I've been, on my video I put out yesterday, I've been called out for literally, that's the words they used. I'm bashing Average Dad just for saying he's making a profit selling the Oppo on his website. I mean, is that bashing or is that just stating the facts? I didn't speak of him negatively, right? I don't have any beef with him. In fact, I watched his video today where he was calling out MKBHD. So I don't have a problem with it. Look, I literally could do the same thing. I could set up a website, have it up and running tomorrow, and I could sell Oppo Find X9 Ultras and just charge $300 more than what Giztop is charging. And then every time I get an order, I could buy one on Giztop when it gets in, send it to the person that bought it from me, and just upsell it by $300, because that's essentially the exact same thing he's doing. So look, I'm for business myself, so I just want to make that clear. I'm not bashing Average Dad. He actually has a decent channel, but not about his channel. I'm just saying about his business practices. Businesses do that around the world. Like, that's not a uncommon thing, right? He's making money selling flipping phones. Like, what's the problem with that? The phone I bought earlier today, S25 Plus for $300. I'm probably maybe gonna flip that here, I don't know, in a month or two, right? Because they're going for like $500. I could flip that for make $200. So you know, it is what it is, like I said. But let me see what's going on in the chat. I want to say hi to everybody. Semper Buffo, good afternoon to you. Bradley, thank you for joining us today, sir. Brian, what's going on, man? Is today Wednesday? Oh my god. I said Tuesday, didn't I? Lord have mercy. Thank you. Hey, I just wanted to ask, is S26 Ultra display actually bad or just uncomfortable for some? It's definitely not bad. In fact, it's a really good display. But is it the best that Samsung has manufactured? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, the S25 Ultra has a better display. I will definitely hear the argument. Some would say the S24 Ultra has a better display. I'll hear you out on that too. And there are some good arguments people can make for that. Now, what Samsung did is they took their very best OLED panel, right? The M14 OLED panel. That's the very best OLED panel they make for mobile devices. And then they modified it to put the pixel shade, or what do they call it? Privacy shade in there, where it has to deal with cones and activated cones where it shoots light, the light emitting diode, the LED light, it emits up in a cone when it's activated. Remember when the Twin Towers fell in New York City, and at night they shined those lights straight up into the sky? It's sort of like that, just on a micro level, instead of shining outward like this. And that's why when it's activated and they shine those lights up at you, that's why you can only see it if you're directly looking at the panel. And when you look to the left, you can't see it. To the right, you can't see it up or down. Now, the display is not bad, but it is for some. And look, the actual number is probably very small, but it is for some bothersome. Now, for me, I don't have any issue with it. I'm on my phone a lot, and it doesn't bother me. I just never activate it, right? I made 1 or 2 videos and that's it. I don't take trains, planes, and automobiles, public, I don't have people snooping over my shoulder, so I don't ever use it. I'm actually looking at my phone right now. It's a good panel. I would not discourage you from buying it if that's your concern. And look, you can always buy it and then return it, right? If it's not, up to your standards, just return the damn thing. Screw it. Just wherever you get it, make sure you're aware of the return window. Some, like Amazon, give you 30 days. At the carrier, it's like, I think 2 weeks. Samsung, I think, is 2 weeks. So yeah, for some, it's giving. Some are saying there's two complaints. One is physical, and one they may be seeing stuff. Not calling them liars. I'm just saying everybody perceives stuff differently. But one thing for sure is it is giving a few. I say a few. Maybe it's a couple thousand. The number is very small. Uh, eye strain, headaches from the PWM, pulse width modulation, the way the screen refreshes. It is giving some headaches, some eye strain. And then other people are saying it's, and I guess I'm one of them, but to me, it's not a big deal. And I don't really notice it unless I'm like, I have an S25 Ultra next to my S26 Ultra. Some say the display, even when the privacy shade is turned off, some say it's, not fuzzy, but kind of grayish. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's just not as vivid as the S25 Ultra, and that's for a reason, and that's a physical reason. Again, that's the way that they put the display. They had to modify that display. So again, they've sold a record number of these, and of course, the people that it does not affect, like me, or let's just say an average person that doesn't have a YouTube channel, they're not going to say, if it does not affect them and they're okay with the screen, they're not going to say anything online. It's those people that it does affect that they'll go on Reddit and express their displeasure with the display, or they'll go on X or Twitter, or they'll go on Instagram, or, the people that do have a problem are going to say something. The people that don't have a problem are not going to say anything. So it's the few people that do have a problem is where you're probably seeing some online. But it's not a bad display, and I would certainly not discourage you from buying it if that's your only concern. Because here's the main point, and we'll move on. Chances are you're going to be fine with it. Let's be honest. They've sold 9 million of these things. I don't think about 9 million. I think probably 6 million, maybe 5 million so far. And out of those 5 million people, whatever the number is, out of those 5 million people, there's maybe 5,000 people where that it bothers. So the chances are like of that bothering you is like 0.01%. You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't let that affect your purchase power of that device. If you have your eyes set on that, get it, enjoy it, and keep it rolling. It's a good device, and I'm not shitting on Samsung. I guess it kind of sounds like I was a few minutes ago, but they do provide a good product, but there is a better product out there, and that's the problem. That's why Samsung looks like they're not bringing everything to the table this year, is because you have this Oppo over here that just came out the gates busting, just busting out the seams with spec wise. So, but if you want to get yours through a carrier, believe me, I get it. Because when you buy from GiveStop, if you get an Oppo phone, and of course you can pay by credit card, but it's not the same. You can't, put it on your phone plan. Very easy. All right. I've purchased phones at a carrier. So, but I get this. Maybe you have a Samsung tablet. Maybe you have Samsung earbuds and you just want to roll with Samsung. If that's fine with you, go for it. I think it's a good phone if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, I have a power surge protector down here. I need my mini PC wouldn't turn on. I'm gonna look into it later. I didn't have time today. Plus, I had to run out and go grab this phone, so I'll check it later. But I do have power surge. I get power surges all over the house. Is he English? Techspert? Maybe he is. I'm just saying. It sounds, obviously he is, but it sounds like he's English, but like from Scotland, maybe. Because isn't Scotland and the UK on the same island, or on the same peninsula, or on the same piece of land? It's just Scotland's like more north, or is that Scotland? Or anyways, you get the point. He's pretty good with his reviews. Yeah, I enjoy his channel. You want to regret getting one. Oh, you won't regret getting one, I think is what you're trying to say. I've watched so many reviews on it. It's a true ultra. Yeah, it looks like, in fact, I watched 3 videos on it. because I watched the MKBHD video. Now I unsubscribed from his channel just because it's not that I don't like him. It's just, I think when you're that big, trust me, if you're sitting in my seat or a channel that has some gravitas, that has some cachet, but obviously nothing like his, it's a big difference when you're that big. I think at the Average Dad video, he was calling him out by saying, what was it? That he's basically bought and paid for by Samsung, by Apple, by Google, essentially to not recommend the Oppo phones or the Chinese phones. Now, is that true? We have no idea. It's obviously just speculation, but it does carry some weight in this YouTube game. And that's one of the couple of reasons why I personally don't have a lot of channel sponsorships or, this or that, is because I don't want to be persuaded to say something. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on with MKBHD, but that just goes to show you how good the phone is, because I even clicked on his video in regards to the phone. You just switched on the S26 Ultra. You just switched from S26 Ultra from Pixel 10 Pro, and I have noticed a huge difference. Now, what's the difference? You're talking about in display, in camera quality, in good or bad? What differences have you noticed? I'd be interested to hear your input. From Pixel to Samsung? Yeah, after seeing what Oppo has put out, it certainly does not live up to the Ultra name. Let's be honest, right? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, would I say that? And I question myself sometimes too. I'm like, damn, if Samsung had me on payroll or sent me every flagship phone, would I say that? I think I would. But here's the thing. If you say that, maybe the Samsung, well, speaking of MKBHD, maybe Samsung will let you slide in one video. But if you say that in 2 videos back to back, or you say that consistently, they'll probably cut partnership or make you start paying for phones. And that's the messed up thing. MKBHD is probably making $1 million a month, something like that, in revenue and ad revenue and sponsorship deals. He can afford to buy these phones. But people like me, where I'm trying to do all I can just to stay on top of these phones, that's a big deal for smaller YouTube channels. They do that. I'm not just singling out Samsung, but these companies do that. There'll be those. In fact, well, it's not that I talk bad about them. Spectrum sent me an iPhone 16 Pro Max last year. I never used the damn thing, and they were like, can we have our phone back? And I was like, sure, whatever. So, it's that dilemma. But yes, getting back to your point, it's not. It's just not. It's just not. So, and look, competition is good for us, the consumer. That means with the S27 series, Samsung better bring it, or else all of us are going to call them out for saying, really? Because remember, they're expected to raise the prices next year a little bit, $50, $100, no more than $150. I think it's going to be about $100. But if they're going to raise the price on us and they're not going to bring top-notch specs, yeah, they're going to get called out. Now, we know the word came out that they're already going to put UFS 5.0 storage in there. We know it's getting LPDDR6 RAM. So it's going to be a good performer. My issue with Samsung phones, well, I take that back. We don't know about the display, although I'm sure I did get word they're going to put the next generation M16 OLED panel in the S27 series. But please, Lord, don't mess it up with the whole privacy shade thing. But no, they got to bring it camera-wise. I'm assuming they're going to provide a 10-bit display this year, because they got blasted for that earlier a couple of months ago. So they'll have UFS 5.0 storage. They'll have LPDDR6 RAM. I'm assuming they're going to have a 10-bit display. I want them to bring it with the cameras. It's been so many years we've been, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, so many years where I'm I'm okay with the mediocre camera quality and video quality, right? And it shouldn't be that way. No, we need to voice our opinions. You, I, on YouTube, on Reddit, on X, on Instagram. We need to let them know this is not acceptable, right? So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping this is the last year they bring half-ass stats to the table, specs to the table. You have an X9 Ultra. Ooh, where did you get it from? Are you in the UK where you can actually buy one officially, or are you here in the States? Yes, they are. I've never had a Vivo phone. No, I've never had an Oppo phone, but I've had a ton of OnePlus phones. So I kind of, I mean, obviously I've never had an Oppo phone, but I feel more closer to Oppo than Vivo. And I've heard the software experience is a tiny bit better on Oppo than Vivo, but I certainly would not be against getting a Vivo phone. Has anybody used a Vivo that's watching? I would like to know how they are. Mobile Marvel. I've never heard of that. I'll look into that after the show. Hang on, let me write that down. Mobile Marvel. And they're selling the global version with the full 5G band support for us here in the US. Because that's Giztop was selling them 2 days ago, but they only had the China model. And then yesterday, Giztop rolled out the global variant that has a ton of 5G bands. You also buy some trading Shenzhen, but they are China-only phones. Yeah, I was gonna buy a OnePlus 15 from trading Shenzhen, and I ended up not getting it from there. But yeah, I'm familiar with them. Oh, really? Yeah, I just started watching. I think I saw my very first video of his with this Oppo thing. When I was doing some research two or 3 days ago, a video popped up where it says "buy yours now" on the thumbnail or something like that, and I was like, "Damn, they're already for sale." And that was the very first video I've watched of Average Dad, and then I watched the one today where he was shitting on MKBHD. The S24 Ultra has the best display even. Yeah, I think so. Like either S24 or S25. The only thing the S25, in my opinion, that has over the S24 Ultra, because technically they are the same display, the M13 OLED panel. They're the same. But the S25 Ultra has that privacy shade. No. Take that back. Not privacy shade. Anti-reflection in there. And I know the S24 Ultra does too, but they cranked it up a little bit on the S25 series. The World Trade Center Ground Zero Memorial. Yeah, they rebuilt over there. Grainy. That's the word I was looking for. Grainy. Thank you. You bought OnePlus 15 at the same time. I ordered the S26 Ultra and had the OnePlus with 1.5K display. It looks better, you're saying. I think so too. The S26 Ultra has like a grainy pixelated display. S25 Ultra was definitely better. I agree. In fact, you know what? I think the display I think the display on the S25 Plus is better. And that's not a bad thing. It has a good display. But it just goes to show you they kind of messed stuff up with this privacy thing. What do you think the reason was Oppo did not release both their new phones announced in the US? I think it was a number of things. I think and what it comes down to, you can pinpoint like I can give you 2 or 3 specific examples of why they chose not to release it in the US, but I think there's one word that encapsulates everything under one umbrella, and that is uncertainty. There's just uncertainty with the government here. And that's specifically directed at the FCC. Tariffs, although somebody did correct me in the comments today and said tariffs don't affect phones. Okay, but what about the parts in the phones? Look, and I'm not a government basher, and again, we're not going to do politics, but it does directly involve what we discuss here, which is tech. And I think uncertainty in not knowing what the FCC is going to do on April the 30th, which is in 8 days, right? They vote on the China electronics ban. Uh, I just think, because here's the thing, if you're Oppo, marketing is very, very expensive. They have to have their own marketing campaign, their own graphics. They have to, they have a whole rollout here for each region of the world. If they chose to launch it in the United States, they would have to invest millions of dollars in commercials, social media ads, New York Times, in Manhattan where they have all the billboards and everything. That costs money to advertise, to promote. So I think in their mind, why would they spend millions on millions of dollars of not only just advertising, but you do have to get it certified by the FCC before you can sell it here. And the FCC has put China Electronics on the backlog because they know that there's a vote on April the 30th. So the FCC is saying, well, why are we going to certify this right now when we have a vote coming up on April the 30th? You see what I'm saying? So for Oppo, from Oppo's point of view, it does not make sense with all the uncertainty and the FCC certifications are not cheap. So I think they made the right move. As much as it sucks, as much as I hate to admit that, I wish it was available. I wish we could just go online and order it and click a few buttons, make a payment, and then the phone will be here in a week, like with every other phone. I think from Oppo's perspective, if I was in their shoes, if I was an executive at Oppo or BBK or whatever the hell it is, I think they made the right decision. Because they don't want to bet, they don't want to gamble millions and millions of dollars for advertising and certification just to get stiffed by the FCC and the US government and or a ban when the rest of the world is full, all systems go. People are ordering, they're shipping out phones. People are ordering, money's coming in, they're shipping out phones, while the US is giving Oppo the middle finger or the cold shoulder. You see what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense for Oppo. Again, I hate it that it's that way. I really, really do. But I don't blame Oppo. Right? They got to protect their pockets. They got to protect their company. They don't want to get phones stuck in limbo. What if 125,000 people from the U.S. ordered phones? Well, let's say they had them. Let's say they had them. Let's say they had a U.S. rollout, and you and I and 125,000 other people ordered the phone yesterday. Oppo ships them to customs. But what if the FCC and or the U.S. government and or customs, what if they say, whoa, this is a China phone that's really that they're shipping here that our customers are buying? Nah, screw them. Put them in the warehouse and we'll just say customs is inspecting the packages. And then what if they sit in the warehouse for 6 weeks? You're going to have some upset customers. And who are they going to blame? They're going to point the finger at Oppo. They're not pointing the finger at customs or the government or the FCC. Because, a person just wants to buy the phone. And so they're like, well, where's my phone, damn it? Why didn't you? I paid you all this money. Where's my phone? And then Oppo's saying, well, we shipped it. It's just stuck in customs. You see what I'm saying? I can see that happening because his government is very, very petty. If you have not noticed already, very petty. And I can see them doing that. So to answer your question, I don't blame Oppo. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're protecting their brand. And look, they know if there's really, really diehard people out there like you and I that want one, they know you'll go on GizTop and buy it. And honestly, what do they care? People that really, really want one are going to buy one, right? So they're selling it to GizTop to sell it to us. So it's like they're just, it's making a couple extra stops along the way, but they're still selling a phone. Units are still being moved. Phones are still being sold. So they're like, well, people that want it will still find a way to get it. So it's just, it sucks. It sucks for where we're sitting right now. But Again, I don't blame Oppo. If you really sit and think about it and you really break down the supply chain, advertising, all this stuff, I don't blame them at all, honestly. Scottish. Yes, I knew it. I knew it. Thank you. Your mini PC power unit might have died. Yes. Well, I'm going to open it up here. I don't know if I have time tonight, but I'll probably open it up tomorrow and take a look. It's underneath the desk, so I'm like bending over and like barely getting an eye on it and like, what's going on? I'm going to pull it out later and test it out. Yes. Well, I'll put it this way. I'm like 95% yes. Now, it's not going to be tomorrow. It may not be next week, but I think I am. I think by, when do they ship? May 15th. So that's essentially 3 weeks. I think I'll place an order within 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure. And here's what I think. If and when I order one and it gets here, I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna be all in. Like, I think I'm gonna be blown away. Now, I'm not saying I'm never gonna go back to Samsung. I'm always gonna have a Samsung phone, but I think I need to take the dive. It's been years. I'm talking years. I've always wanted a Xiaomi phone or a Vivo or an Oppo or one of the Chinese Ultra phones. The closest thing to a Chinese Ultra phone I've purchased is a OnePlus phone. And I have no problems with it. I know some people don't want to, use stuff that are Chinese made, but I don't care. But I think I am. Yes. Okay. Hey, what's going on, man? I'll never give Average Dad any of my money. That dude is a straight hater. Well, he definitely has strong opinions. I'll put it that way. Is there any Chinese brand phone with the millimeter waves 5-band 258, 260, and 261? Well, good thing you asked. Let's find out. Chinese phones. I don't know any specifically. Have you looked to see if the Oppo Find X9 Ultra does? Because you know what? That's a good question. I was just looking at, before I started the live, I was looking at a comparison between the MediaTek Dimensity 9500 CPU and modem combination versus the Snapdragon 80 Elite Gen 5 CPU and modem combination. And it did say that the Snapdragon has millimeter wave support and sub 6. And it was saying that the Dimensity MediaTek doesn't, or is missing some of the, is it sub 6 and or millimeter wave? If you go on, I'm going to share my screen here. How long have we been on? 45 minutes? Damn, I'm not even going to get to one story. Let's see here. Let me share my screen. Where is the expand? So, damn it. So here's, can y'all see that? That's the Oppo Find X9 Ultra. And you're right. All I see are the bands that essentially goes, now those are all the bands that T-Mobile uses, 5G bands, but you're speaking specifically millimeter wave, and those go up to in 258, 260, and 261. I don't see them there, and unfortunately I think that's pretty common. Now that's because the majority of the towers that are over there and or around rest of the world might not use millimeter wave that much. Like, it may just be a US thing, and they don't see any point putting that band support in their phones because nobody uses it essentially. So I'm gonna look into that after this, join us tomorrow and or remind me tomorrow, because I think I need to do some more deep diving on specifically this topic to find out, because that's a very good question. I have no idea. Again, I'm new to the Chinese flagship phone world. So I'm learning this, kind of on the fly as everybody else is. But I'll look into that. You think it's like Apple's situation where they offered a matte display on iPads, only difference is Apple offered a regular display. Yeah, that could be it for the Samsung. Will FCC ban just after Chinese electronics going forward, or will my phone not get service? Well, that's the thing we just don't know. And again, going back to the uncertainty thing with Oppo and why they didn't release it here in the United States, we don't know. Now, I don't okay, so real quick, let's say the FCC on April 30th puts the ban on, and they say no electronics sold here from China, meaning phones and anything else that's manufactured and or originates from China. Let's say that's the case, and come May, they put it in effect the day after. So if they just ban, I think you will be fine. But the point I have brought into attention in the past is I don't know what to expect from this. And again, there is a chance. I don't know if it's a 50-50 or a 99% no, 1% yes. But here's the thing. I can see this happening. I just don't know if they're going to go that far. Like, they can take it this far if they want to. And what I'm getting at is the ban goes in April 30th, right? Now, let's say the government and or the FCC, they have a lot of pull with the carriers here, with the big three, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. And then all the smaller ones fall under the big three, right? Because they're MVNOs. So what if the FCC goes to the big three and says, the big three carriers, and say, I want you to block service, meaning don't send any carrier network services to any IMEIs on your network that originate from China. Because when you put a SIM card in there, I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago, and you go online to pay your bill or something, you'll pull up your lines and then what devices you're using. Well, how do they know what device you're using? It's because the SIM card can read the IMEI of the phone, and then they send that information to the big telecoms. Well, what if the SIM card reads that you're using an Oppo Find X9 Ultra, and then it originates from China, and then they shut off your service? And if that happens, they're going to say, well, it's for security reasons. Now, they do have a point that they can use as an example, because do you remember last year when Verizon got hacked? It was a huge deal. Remember, Verizon service was out for a day for like the whole country, or a large majority of the country. Well, guess who hacked into the Verizon network? The Chinese hackers. So they have a use case, an example to fall back on and say, well, because of security reasons, we don't want any those China phones to have back doors in them. Now, I'm saying there's no proof of that, but I'm just using that as an example of what the government and or the FCC would say to us, the public. So I can see that happening. What are the chances of that? Probably, if you want my honest opinions, probably slim. But here's the thing. I wouldn't put it past them. I would not be shocked if that happened. Realistically, I don't know, 5% chance that happens, but at this point, anything is possible. You see what's going on around the world. Anything is freaking possible. So now, will that sway your decision to buy Oppo Find X9 Ultra? Yes, no. I don't know. Good news. Let's say that does happen. Let's say I buy the phone. Oh man, I'm enjoying it. And then boom, the ban happens, and then 6 weeks later, boom, they stop sending service through your carrier to all IMEI numbers originating from China. And then you're stuck with a Wi-Fi device. Who wants to do that? Now, if that does happen, and let's say you're past your return window, well, Good news is that you have a phone that's very, very high in demand. You won't have any problem selling it and or getting your money back by selling it if you're past your return window, because trust me, it's very high in demand. Now you probably have to put it on eBay, right? And it'll probably be an international buyer, so you have to jump through those hoops. But you could get somebody here, put on Facebook Marketplace or Swap. You never know. You could have somebody that buys it here locally, and that's going to Europe, or that would ship it to their family member in Russia. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, you will get your money back for it. That phone is very, very high in demand. So, I don't know. We'll see. You ordered the Oppo Find X9 Pro today through Swifttronics. Would love the X9 Ultra, but I just can't do the big camera bump. Yeah, I was debating between the two, and I think if I had a choice before the 21st, like going even back to a few weeks ago, I wanted the Pro, the X9, the Find X9 Pro, because I love the OnePlus 15. It's essentially the OnePlus 15 on steroids, right? Spec'd out with the very best cameras. In fact, I think it got best cameras all of 2025. But I think that one has the MediaTek CPU. Not saying that's a bad choice. In fact, it's a fantastic choice. But you need to know what you're buying. In where I'm at, you should have no issues. Let me put this out there. You should have no issues with your service and using that Find X9 Pro in the United States. But with my power going out yesterday and my Wi-Fi out yesterday, it just reminded me of how I literally live in a dead spot. Meaning, if I don't have Wi-Fi, good luck getting service. It just is what it is. I cannot afford, because I was saying that earlier on another comment, the Dimensity 9500 with that modem, you can Google it too, with the modem, it is missing. I wish I had saved the info. I was just looking at it. It's missing 1 or 2 bands, right? That the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 has. So in my shoes, and my Wi-Fi going out yesterday just reminded me, I have to shoot for the very best mobile network experience. And in my shoes, I think the Snapdragon processor provides that. So it's kind of like a personalized thing with me. But I think you should be A-okay with the X9 Pro. In fact, I would have no issues using that. Could say that's a better buy because it is cheaper. And can you really tell the difference between photo quality in the Pro and the Ultra? Look, I'm sure you could, but the Pro is still like top 5 on DxOMark. So, good purchase. I think that's a good one. You returned your S26 Ultra, are waiting on this phone, but the price is going to be there at least for the next 3 weeks. Now, after pre-order, after the 15th, when like GizTop and other places start shipping them, prices should come down. So if you can hold out for a month, maybe 2 months, prices should come down. In fact, you'll start seeing some for sale on eBay, on other websites that you can buy them from as well. That should be a little cheaper. Yeah, OnePlus 15 lacks millimeter wave. That's just up to it's up to the manufacturers. You know, the Snapdragon has it available. It's just up to the manufacturer, OnePlus. It's up to Samsung to what they want to activate inside that modem. Yeah. But you think it feels unnecessary. 5G plus midband is still working like a charm. Do you have T-Mobile? But you say, didn't the hack only affect iPhones though? I remember people with Android were safe, had the service. You talking about the Chinese hacked with Verizon? I don't know. I have to go back and look. Maybe there were some specifics in regards to that hack or that case. Maybe there was. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I just don't remember. If that's the case, maybe you have a better memory of that than I do. Now, I teased these stories, so let's blow through them. How long have I been on? Just under an hour. All right, here's the here's the news of the day after an hour intro. But I'd rather talk to y'all than just sit here and talk uh, reviewing tech news. But let's jump into it real quick because there is some interesting stuff here. So look at this. Speaking of iPhone, well, what do you know? Apple is going to upgrade their camera sensors too. Apple said, hold my beer, Oppo. Look what we're going to do. So that's why I say competition is good for everybody. The consumer wins. Competition makes these companies and or entities improve their products and or services. Competition is good for us because the consumer wins. And technically, in business, if you have lots of competition, technically price should matter as well. Meaning if there's two competing companies, one will say, oh, my product's cheaper. No, my product is cheaper. But in the phone world, it kind of really doesn't work like that. So, but look what Apple's doing. They're going to blow out their cameras. They are going to do huge camera upgrades. We're talking 200 megapixel telephotos here, telephoto sensors here. So that is the iPhone 18 on the left with the small dynamic island. And that is the iPhone 20, their 20th anniversary edition on the right. Yes, they are going to go with the hole punch. I've said that numerous times. And eventually, after the hole punch, that'll disappear. Apple, on their roadmap, is planning to go all display. Eventually, they'll get there. Everybody will get there at some point. But that's in Apple's roadmap. That's a real thing. The dynamic island's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So let's look at what they have planned doing here, because this directly, as we mentioned earlier, affects Samsung as well. Now, Samsung's really going to be pressured. In fact, they're probably shaking in their boots right now because Oppo came out with the phone that's the best camera phone in the world. You see the news today that Apple is going to massively upgrade their camera sensors because they don't want to be left behind. And who else doesn't want to be left behind? Samsung, because Samsung copies everything Apple does. At least that's what it seems like. Trust me. They already have a 200 megapixel sensor in their phone, but it's like 5 or 6 years old. It's like, really? I think it's time for an upgrade. We have a 200 megapixel sensor. Yeah, back in 2015, maybe. It's 2026. So Apple iPhone 18 Pro and 18 Pro Max and also the iPhone 20 are going to get super large main camera sensors, dedicated optical image stabilization for the ultra-wide lens, and a 200 megapixel telephoto camera. Now, these 200 megapixel telephoto sensors are not 5 or 6 year old sensors like Samsung is doing. No. These are going to be top-notch sensors. So this is going to drastically improve the zoom capabilities, just the overall. If they're going with variable aperture main sensors, super large sensors, 200 megapixel telephoto sensors, I'm telling you, this directly, if the Oppo news and the Oppo release did not pressure Samsung enough to really upgrade their camera sensors, this is going to directly make them upgrade everything. So this is good. If you're a Samsung fan, I don't think you should be like, man, I hate Apple. They're gonna have a head up. Man, my Apple friends, my iPhone fanboy friends over here are gonna dog me out because of my Samsung when they see this. No. Well, they might, but this means Samsung is going to be pressured into upgrading their sensors. So this should be good news. Even if you're not an iPhone fan like me, I'm happy. This is good news because it's going to force Samsung to upgrade their sensors. So here's the details. You're going to get variable aperture capabilities. This is already widely known, and I've actually made a video or two on this in the past. You're going to get a 1/1.12 inch main camera sensor, an ultra-wide lens with optical image stabilization, and a 200 megapixel telephoto lens. So that news leaked today. Big news in the tech world, and that's what they're going to look like. Only if the software didn't suck. Now, look at this. if you're a Motorola fan, we got new razors. I've never owned a razor. I've owned a lot of flips, Samsung Galaxy Z flips, but never a razor. I'm not against it. They actually have their, I don't even know the naming of it, but their spec'd out one is spec'd out. Like the best Snapdragon processor, tons of RAM, tons of storage. I just don't know how their cameras are on the flips. If look, if it's any better than the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, it's it's not a big bar you have to cross, because the cameras on the Z Flip 7 are nothing to brag about. But you were getting a new Razr for 2026, fully leaking, revealing it's a familiar design. You're getting a newer Dimensity chip, which is interesting, because if this looks like it's the Razr, the base model, because isn't there premium Razr like the Razr Plus or the Razr Ultra? I think because I don't know, because in their premium Razr, they put Snapdragon chips in there, so that would be big news if they went all Dimensity or MediaTek. Let's see, launching April 29th alongside the wider Razr lineup. Availability May 21st. So very interesting. That should be released here in the US. You will get a teal color. You'll get a sparkly white color, and you'll get like a Pantone silver gold color, which looks pretty cool. 6.9 inch AMOLED, 120 hertz refresh rate. Let's see, anything new here? 90. Wait, what? Oh, the cover screen is 90 hertz. Got you. One of the biggest changes comes under the hood, the Razr 2026. This has to be their base Razr, because they have like 2 or 3 levels: the Razr Plus, and the Razr Ultra. And the Ultra is spec'd out. But the Razr, this looks like this is the base model. Yeah, because look, MediaTek Dimensity 7400 series. The 7000 series is like the Snapdragon 7 series, basically. I know they have an 8000 series. So their best is the 9000 series. They have an 8000 and a 7000. So if Snapdragon had the 8 series, the 7 series, so this would be like a 6 series CPU, 8 gigs of RAM. Yeah, this would definitely be their base model. So UFS 3.1, a little behind. But yeah, so if you're interested, I'm going to keep my eye on this. Stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'll keep everybody updated. May not be our lead story on some days, but I'll keep everybody updated. Now, this is something that I am thoroughly excited about. This is something that I might consider getting myself. I've always, just like I've kind of, now I'm like, damn, I kind of always wanted the very best camera phone, because I've been stuck on this mediocre cameras for so long. I really want a Framework laptop. If you're not familiar with the company Framework is like a custom laptop company. But the cool thing about Framework laptops, they compete on a much smaller scale, smaller company, but that's the name of the company. Instead of buying a HP laptop, HP OmniBook 14 Flip, like what I got, they sell the Framework Laptop 13 Pro. Cool thing about Framework is that it's all modular. Almost every component on the laptop is upgradable. I stumbled over the words. I almost can't believe it. Now, I've known about this for a few years, but you can upgrade the keyboard. You can upgrade the RAM. Get this, you can upgrade the processor. You can upgrade the display. You can upgrade the mouse pad, the storage, the battery. Everything is upgradable. So instead of being stuck with this HP laptop, now it's the best one you could buy, but being stuck with that for 5 years and then, well, I guess it's time to buy a new laptop. No, you can upgrade your processor every single year if you want to. How cool is that? Such a fantastic idea. Again, we've gotten so used to just the way things are. No. This is like an industry disruptor. This is what I wish phones would be at. And there was a modular phone. I forgot the name of it. Do y'all remember that? It was like real boxy. It was kind of like a Minecraft phone. It wasn't called that, but you could like input slots of RAM or whatever. But I think Teco or Techno has a phone like that now. But Framework is a long-lasting company. They had their keynote today, and this new Framework laptop 13 Pro offers a fully repairable design, fully modular design, fully upgradable design, and it features new LPCAMM2 RAM and Intel's Core Ultra 3 series CPUs. The best part is they start at $1199, which is not bad, because as you get, MacBooks are mad expensive minus the Neo, but you get it. Once you get up to the flagship level with laptops, it's going to cost you at least $1,500-$1,600. So them starting out at $1,200 is a pretty good deal. And again, you can upgrade everything on here. So essentially, you could purchase this laptop and have that frame, have that core foundation of a laptop for years to come. And, in a few years, it's time to upgrade my CPU. Boom. It's time to upgrade. I need more RAM. Boom. I need more memory, more storage. Boom, upgrade that. I kind of want a new keyboard. After a few years, your keys kind of get worn out. Boom. A new mouse trackpad. Boom. So, really fantastic idea. I wish this would catch on with more people, the public. I am gonna have this on my wish list. I don't know if I'll ever get around to getting one, but I certainly want one. I'll put it that way. But link, if you're interested and you want to dive into this, go into the description box down below. I have a source link, and it's to a Google Docs document. Click that. All the stories we're reviewing here at the end of the show, I have links for, and it'll take you directly here, and you can dive into it and see if it's something you might like. I think so. So here's this Oppo Pad 5 Pro. So as I was saying earlier in the show, this is something that, hang on one second. Oppo did not just release a flagship phone. As I mentioned earlier, they have a whole ecosystem, and I didn't even think about it until my wife said something last night. She was thinking about getting the Oppo phone. Blew my mind. I was like, you? What? I was like, I didn't even know you know what Oppo phone is. She's like, well, yeah, it's all over YouTube. It's all over my feed. I'm like, me too. She was like, do they have an ecosystem? I said, well, of course they do. But I never looked into it. I was like, of course they do. And I was like, do they? They do. They got phones. They got tablets. They got watches. They got earbuds. It's just like Samsung, right? Just like Apple. So this is their latest and greatest tablet. Look at these specs. There's one spec that I want you to pay attention to, though. The Oppo Pad 5 Pro launched with a 13.2-inch 144 hertz display, Snapdragon 80 Elite Gen 5, and PC-like features. What is this? So here's what it looks like. Like a tablet, but you get the PC vibe. But look at the operating system. Look at that picture. What else does it look like? Mac OS. You guessed right. Look at the bottom bar there. Just like Mac OS. All your apps are lined up down there. Windows are kind of a Mac OS lookalike. And that's fine with me. I'd rather it look like Mac OS than iOS. But, now you're going to get top-notch specs. But here's one spec that you're going to want to, may bother you, may not bother you. It's going to have top-of-the-line specs. It has the Snapdragon 80 Elite Gen 5. It has LPDDR5X RAM. It has UFS storage 4.1. It's got 144 hertz refresh rate. It's got a 3392 by 2400 pixels. It's 7 by 5 aspect ratio, making it almost perfect for media and work. However, it has an LCD panel, an LCD display, meaning no AMOLED. I know I've brought this up before that I would love to get in the past, I would love to get a OnePlus tablet, but they use LCD panels. Womp, womp, womp. But Daniel, who is one of our subscribers over here, he reached out and said, "Yo, I think he has a OnePlus tablet or has used one. I think he has one or had one." And he said it's awesome. Like honestly, he can't even really tell AMOLED, LCD, but we've gotten so used to AMOLED that maybe when I hear LCD, I'm like, what a bummer. But they have improved quality of the LCD over the years, and yeah, AMOLED you can get the true blacks, meaning space black pixels. And LCD I guess you can't get true black, but it's improved over the last really improved over the last 5 or 6 years from what I understand. So I'm sure if you had an AMOLED and an LCD put together side by side, you'd be able to tell a difference. But if you just had this tablet and you didn't have any other AMOLED panels around you, I don't know if you'd be able to tell. So, just as of a couple of years ago, I'd be like, no way. If I see LCD, I just cross it off the list. I'm not going to get it. But after hearing what Daniel has to say, and after doing a little bit of research on my own, LCD doesn't sound that bad. And if it doesn't sound that bad to you, this is for sale as well. Now, if you're thinking, well, where the hell would I buy it? Because Oppo's not selling their phones here in the US. Well, guess who has it? Giztop. Giztop has this for sale. It's like $7.99, but it looks top of the line. Looks fantastic. Looks badass, quite honestly. So pricing and availability, let's see, starts at $560 for 256, and then it goes all the way up to $16,512 for 720. So you can get one for like $699, $599, somewhere right around there, which is priced about right, honestly. Because if you actually, it's priced under a Galaxy tablet, because those go for like $1,000. This might be a better buy. Now Samsung I think they use all AMOLED, but if you're interested, go down below in the show notes, click that link to that Google Docs document. I have manage the access, so anybody that clicks the link can be a viewer, not an editor, but a viewer, and you can look at it more in detail. Now, I think that was it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. So those were all the tech stories today that I wanted to get to. So I do appreciate the time. Thank you very much for joining me. Will the FCC... Oh, yeah, I think I already hit that one. I returned to my S26 Ultra waiting on this phone, but the price already... Yeah. I think I got to most of these. The Razer Ultra. SD chips, my Razer. Oh, gosh, 7400. That's a pretty good CPU. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you around. Appreciate you joining us today. AI display at 80 Hertz. He's saying, yeah, I have Verizon in my area. Band 13 is what every tower has. The X9 Pro will be so good, especially since I'll be able to use 5G mid-band. Well, good for you. Look, that's something I'm very happy to see that you actually looked into it. That's what everybody should do. Like, that's what I do. And sometimes I'm like, damn, am I crazy? Like, am I the weirdo that checks all this stuff? Or... because I'm like, I can't be that big of a nerd, right? It seems like common sense to me, but I guess some people don't check. But I'm like, if I'm going to get a phone, I got to know what kind of service. It's a lot of money. I want to know what kind of service I'm going to get. What can I expect? Because I don't want to get it, find out it doesn't support 3 out of the 4 bands, and it gets horrible reception where I'm at. Well, I'm just going to waste my time, waste my money, send it back. Like, I'd rather just skip all that and not buy it if it doesn't fit my certain situation, right? Or go ahead and purchase it and have a fun time with it. So, yeah, if you did the homework, I think you're going to love that phone. So, good for you, man. I'm really happy for you. That's badass. Please let me know how you like it, please, because I'm honestly, seriously considering getting that, at some point. Like, that's high up on my, like, the X9 Pro and X9 Ultra are up there with the phones that I want right now. So please let me know what you think whenever you get it in. You can email or you can even comment in a future video. I don't care, but I definitely want to know how you like it. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. I do appreciate the time. It is, damn, it's almost 9 o'clock. I don't think I've streamed this late, have I? It's almost 9 o'clock here. Well, I'm going to run. I'm sure the family's hungry, and they're probably going to be busting down this door here in a minute anyways. So thank you for your time. Hope everybody has a wonderful and safe rest of the evening. And as always, I will see you tomorrow. Peace out. The OnePlus Watch will not be coming here. I can tell you that right now. It will not. It'll be available global. It won't be available for the US. Well, maybe I'll be surprised, but I don't expect it to be available. No. So, with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate the time. Thank you as always, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.